All right, so I've been having some technical difficulties, but wanted to try to get this thought out. If, let's say that you come to a four-way stop and you're thinking about how to interpret the police car in front of you, probably the first step that you are going to take is wondering whether or not you are actually in trouble for anything that you've done. So you might be running through the checklist in your mind of, okay, are my blinkers on? How's my registration? Is there anything weird with a headlight? It could be anything, right? Maybe I rolled that stop. I hope he doesn't notice. All those things are probably going to float in your mind. The question relevant to hermeneutics when we approach a text, when there are a bunch of different thoughts coming into our mind, is how do we know that our thoughts are actually from the text and not additional context we're bringing into the text? So when God is that police car that stops in front of us, are we reacting because we are understanding what he's communicating to us, or are we bringing our own fears and our own emotions to the text in front of us? And so that's one of those questions that I want to answer as a Protestant with a consistent framework that distinguishes between contexts that are irrelevant to the situation at hand from contexts that are relevant to the situation at hand. And I think as Protestants, one of the things we want to be able to do is see what's actually in the grammar and the genre of a text versus what we're bringing to it. Let's take an example. John 3:16, famous text. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. It would be easy to apply this text to the individual that trusts in Jesus so that they have eternal life, because that's the sentence. But we could miss the larger context of John in Jesus being the light of the world, in him being the Logos, this rationality made flesh, in him being this allusion to Genesis, the light of the world before all worlds that comes in. And a little bit of cutoff there, but we could bring in contexts that don't matter to that interpretation of John 3:16, right? And what we want to do is not just say John 3:16 means I can believe in Jesus and I don't need to do what John 15 says about bearing good fruit. Instead, we want to think about all of the relevant context. But we're a limited human being and we only have finite context at a particular time. Is interpretation then possible? That answer is going to lead not to relativism, but to a principled pluralism. And in that way, God approaches us, and a lot of different interpretations are possible. But that doesn't make us relativists. It just makes us human.